In Consumer Corner, we take a look at trends creating a buzz online in China. On today's show, we'll discuss the recent announcement of petrol quality upgrades by the country's oil monopoly, PetroChina, and see how Chinese internet users respond to it. A few days last week were big surprises for many people in Beijing. Many looked out their windows with the pleasant shock of seeing a blue sky. A day with PM 2.5 levels similar to that of most cities in the world isn't very common here in Beijing. Bloggers and Weixin users started taking photos of the ephemeral beauty, knowing that they would inevitably be stuck with a cloud of gray haze later on. As of yesterday, just a handful of days since the skies were clear, blue, and full of white clouds, the sky is accumulating a grayish tone again. It probably won't be long before the blue sky is completely gone again. Many Beijingers are left wondering why their skies aren't cleaner. Many have odd explanations for the haze, since it isn't a widely understood and discussed topic for Beijing's general public. However, the health effects are often too real for the comfort of excuses. Sometimes the damage is justified in the name of development, growth, and economic gain. According to government data, more than 20% of PM 2.5 comes from vehicle emissions. It's believed that the country's poor fuel quality is one of the major reasons for the heavy air pollution. People complain that the country's two oil giants, PetroChina and Sinopec, only offer low-quality fuel. The two companies are the top leaders in China's petroleum industry. Sinopec has more than 30,000 gas stations throughout the country. It dominates over 50% of market share. Another market giant, PetroChina, has over 20,000 gas stations in the country. It also controls over 30% of the domestic fuel market. The central government requests that they upgrade fuel quality by January 1, 2014. But now, faced with more pressure from the public, one of the oil monopolies, Sinopec, has finally announced that it will bring the deadline forward 3 months in advance. As finance.sina.com reported, starting October 1st, Sinopec will be upgrading fuel quality to a Euro 5 standard in Shanghai, Jiangsu, and Guangdong. The rest will just upgrade to China 4 standard, which is the equivalent of the Euro 4 fuel standard. This would make China's fuel quality equal to that of the U.S. standard. After the upgrade, sulfur content in the China 4 standard fuel will drop 150 to more than 50 parts per million. Those areas using Euro 5 standard fuel would only contain sulfur of less than 10 parts per million. This seems to be a good thing, but profit margins might be holding back improvements. Market experts estimate that upgrading petrol quality from China 3 to China 4 will cost an extra 30 to 45 Chinese cents per liter, or 19 to 27 cents per gallon. Last year, China consumed over 780 million tons of petrol. It would cost Sinopec at least 32 billion yuan, or $5.2 billion US dollars for petrol upgrades. The actual operational cost might be even higher. Sinopec's report shows that during the past decade, the company spent over 200 billion yuan, or 33 billion US dollars, to upgrade China's petrol quality. These are all indicators that Sinopec would increase fuel prices to offset the cost of the upgrade. Many online in China want to know why there is a huge price gap between China and the U.S. Gas is much cheaper in America. They also want to know how the monopolies can justify raising prices for lower quality fuel. Namfang Daily cites Sinopec's annual report. It said that last year, crude oil prices, oil refining technology, and the cost of logistics for the two countries' oil companies are very similar. But the big difference is the much higher tax rate in China. Chinese people have to pay for fuel consumption with value-added taxes, consumption tax, and an urban construction tax. Apart from that, once international crude oil is at a relatively high level, China's oil companies have to pay a special oil gain levy to the central government. It is estimated that the tax burden on fuel prices would occupy more than 50% of the retail price. By comparison, in the U.S., the tax on fuel is only about 11%. In the end, fuel prices in China are 16 to 30% higher than in the U.S. Many Chinese internet users show their opinions of fuel quality upgrades. One sarcastically wrote, quote, "I always thought our country's expensive fuel prices meant we are using much higher quality fuel than the U.S. Now I know I've been wrong for a long time." Another Weibo user commented on a publicized idea of having prices geared to international standards. The term is often recycled by government officials to explain price hikes. He wrote, quote, "If we use the same quality fuel as Americans, why are our prices much higher than theirs? Do Chinese people earn that much more than them? Officials claim that the prices are geared to international standards, but why don't you let our housing, medical, and pension systems reach an international standard?" Finally, a Weibo user showed his support for improving fuel quality. Quote, "Sinopec used to be against upgrading fuel quality. Now they have finally accepted it. It's good news. I hope every SOE takes responsibility for society and every individual." The cost of fuel and its quality might be an eye-opening topic for many. For many countries, fuel is a major topic of debate, since it's an everyday expense. So fuel costs can sway support of the general public. However, Beijing's issues will be central to three questions. Why does the public have to pay for overpriced fuel? And will the public be willing to pay more if it meant cleaner air? Also, will higher quality fuel make a noticeable difference in air quality?